Welcome to the Wingman Show. My name is Drew Brown, and my wingman, my man, the number one guy I know, Dr. Paul Thompson. What's up, brother? Welcome to the Wingman Show, where we're floating like butterflies and stinging like bees. Rumble, you two badass jet pilots, rumble. Welcome to the Wingman Show. My name is Commander Drew Brown. My wingman, my friend, the guy who watches my back or my six, Dr. Paul Thompson. How are you, Dr. P?
Oh, Mr. Drew, it's good to see you. I'm doing very, very well today. It looks like I haven't seen you in a while. I see a big airplane behind you, but you look like somebody that spent some time on the high seas. I don't know.
I did. And you know what? Our quote is going to come from the high seas. I just came back from a cruise. We went from Portugal to Orlando and we went through the Canary Islands. Amazing cruise. But on the boat, we were on a celebrity cruise, and the ship, the Equinox, every time you went into the men's bathroom, they had little sayings above the stall. And so our quote, Dr. P, will come from that. I love this. I worked 14 hours a day for 37 years, and now they want to call me a genius. That was by Pablo de Sarasate. Once again, I worked 14 hours a day for 37 years, and now they want to call me a genius. Pablo de Sarate. Paul, everything you do in life, you have to work at. And this guy is telling you he's not a genius. He just busted his ass for a long, long time doing whatever he did.
Yeah, I have no idea who that is, but obviously you did something worthwhile. Yeah, you're right. Nobody sees the quiet time. No one sees the practice or the failures. Fall, get up. Yeah, they just we like the flash and the dash and the illusion of instant success, like winning the lottery. How many lottery winners do you know?
That's very good. The illusion of fast success.
Yeah.
Well, I have some illusions of fast success if you want them. Now, everybody out there who's listened to us, you probably know by now that my dad is Drew Bundini Brown, who trained Sugar Ray Robinson and Muhammad Ali, the two greatest fighters to ever step into the ring. I grew up with these guys. I grew up around great boxing. But the name of our show today is How to Make $40 million Fighting an Old Man. Scam the public. We just got scammed. Tyson and, and Jake Paul just had a fight. Jake Paul made 40 million. Mike Tyson made 20 million. And the reason I was telling you about my dad and Sugar Ray and Muhammad Ali is that those guys fought. These guys didn't fight. Mike Tyson threw hardly any punches. It was one of the biggest scams of all time. And now Dr. Paul is going to give you some figures to show you how big of a scam it really was.
Yeah, I don't know how many people watched it. I watched it on Netflix. If you have a Netflix subscription, it was free, which was really
No, Paul, it wasn't free. You have to pay for Netflix.
Well, that's true. Okay. Okay. It wasn't, it didn't go to Dana White and UFC. Yes, you paid Netflix. But the thing was that I watched it. Buffering was really, really bad. In fact, some people are suing Netflix because the buffering's so bad. I saw it on YouTube. I had a way of finding it on YouTube. It was 16 minutes, 8 2-minute rounds, 16 minutes. And Jake Paul, who I'd never really heard of before, apparently he's a pretty good boxer. I think he was like a child actor on Disney Channel, got into boxing, and he's beaten quite a few notable people. Many past their prime. I think he lost to some boxer named Tommy Fury. But he's a rising star, makes money, kind of like a Mr. Beast type, but maybe bigger. But anyway,
Right.
he made $40 million. He made $40 million. Tyson made $20 million. 8 2-minute rounds. So it's total 16 minutes, not including the breaks in the rounds. And I calculated that for Jake Paul, he made $2.5 million a minute, or $41,651 per second. Tyson, on the other hand, only made $1.25 million per round, or $20,883 per second. Now we looked at the punches thrown. Commander Drew
Not
wanted to know.
many, Dr. Paul.
Yeah,
There were not many punches thrown.
yeah. So Commander Drew insisted I get the stats on the how much they made per punch that they received. Long story short, Tyson, for every time Tyson got hit, every time he got hit, he made $256,410.
Wow.
For every time Jake Paul got hit, it's only 18 times, he made $2,222,222 and something cents. I didn't give you the cents, so it's not precise. That's not bad. I've been hit for free, and I should
Paul,
be.
are you telling me this man made $2 million every time he got punched and
Yeah,
then punched very hard?
yeah. Because I remember watching some of the Tyson warm-ups, and I didn't see him do any of those combinations where he was killing the spar. At 58, he was killing the sparring partners. You know
It was,
what happened?
it was a real ripoff. I'll tell you what. And Mike Tyson, I mean, you know what happens to boxers, like most athletes, they don't have much money in the end. They live a wild, crazy life. They make a whole lot of money, spend a whole lot of money, and then I'm sorry to say they have to do things like this to keep going. I remember when Ali did his last fight, he got the shit beat out of him, but
Yeah.
he needed the money. He needed that $11 million. I won't forget that. And he asked my dad, he said, please come. My father didn't even want to go with him because he knew that this wouldn't be a fight.
Well, it's interesting you say that because I'm just thinking right now, popping in my head, what goes around comes around. Because you talked about Ali's last fight. As I recall, I think that was with Trevor Berbick.
Yes.
And as I remember, Trevor Berbick hurt him. And then when Tyson, years later, when Tyson got to fight Trevor Berbick, he went to Ali and said, basically, I'm going to punish him for what he did to you. And he did.
Wow.
Remember, he knocked Berbick down so bad he couldn't even get up. He got up, he
Yes.
collapsed like 3 times in the ring.
Well,
And he
how
was
about
saying he
this,
did something.
Dr. Paul? You just told me something I didn't know. I didn't know he told him that.
That's what I said. Yeah, he said, I'm gonna do this for you. Read that somewhere. Yeah.
Wow. All right. Well, beating up an old man, making $40 million. Incredible. Well, actually, he didn't beat up the guy, so he didn't hurt anybody. So God bless both of them. But be careful what you pay Netflix for the next time. All right, Paul. You know we do good news because they say if it bleeds, it leads. Well, we say here on the Wingman Show, if it's good, it should. How about this? There was an election. Now we don't talk about politics or religion on our show, but this election was very, very, very controversial. Great word. And let me tell you what this cruise line did. There's a cruise line out there, believe it or not, and they're called Villa V Residences. It's a cruise ship. And they say that if you didn't like what happened with the election, for $40,000 a year, for 4 years, you can leave the country. You can go to 425 ports across 140 countries. $40,000 a year, and you don't have to deal with the election. Tell me what you think about that.
That's kind of expensive. Um, I don't, the election one way or the other. I don't think I have to really go anywhere. But I guess that's an option if you really want to see the world. So I guess is that like one of those bus tours? You can get off in a place and pick up the ship when it comes back, or pick up another ship in that same line. Keep going.
Well, that's hop on, hop off, which whenever we travel overseas, we always get on a hop on, hop off bus to see the city. Well, yes, I believe it's like that, but I don't know if you can switch ships. I think it's one ship that does this.
Well,
I just got a letter from Virgin Voyage, my favorite cruise line, and they said for $120,000, you and a person can live on their ships for 1 year. And that is, you can take any ship, anytime, anywhere. I would like to do that. I hate to say it. I really enjoy cruising. I love being out there on the ocean. Dr. Paul and I were out there on the ocean for many, many years. And we were doing other things like flying jets around. But this one is just pure relaxation, pure entertainment. And I just really love it.
so you,
$120,000 for a year. What do you
so you
think?
could be anywhere. You could be like off the coast of Antarctica or New Jersey.
100% yes. All right, I got some other good news for you. This is an incredible story. In India, a while back, a woman named Dashrath Manji, she died from a fall. And they live in a very, very secluded place in Galore, India. Well, when she fell, she was walking, traversing some mountain tops, and she fell, and she was really hurt. And because the hospital was so far away, she died. Well, her husband, because of that, this is crazy, but for 22 years, with a hammer and a chisel, he cut out a way to get through that mountain that they couldn't get around. He changed the distance to the hospital from 34 miles to 9.3 miles. With a hammer and chisel, he carved out 360 feet long, a 25-foot deep, and a 30-foot wide entrance to get through that mountain. It took him 22 years. People laughed at him in the beginning, Paul, and now they made a statue for him. Please tell me what you think about that.
That's that's a movie at a minimum. Uh, all by himself, no assistance.
No assistance. People were laughing at him in the beginning when he started.
And maybe those people may have not been alive when he finished.
That's right. But how many people you think he saved because that town now could make it to a hospital? Amazing, don't you think?
Yeah, probably everybody who ever got sick who could get there.
That's right. One more thing. Here's some good news. If you want to find out how old you are, the best way, not how old you are, how well you are surviving your age, in other words, how healthy you are at your age, they just did a test and it only takes 30 seconds. They had people under 65 and over 65 do this test, Paul. What they did is they first stood with 2 feet on the ground, their eyes open for 30 seconds. Then they closed their eyes and stood there for 30 seconds, seeing if they could keep their balance. Then, how you really found out about how healthy you are, they stood on one leg and tried to stand there for 30 seconds and on their dominant leg. Then they switched legs and they did it on their non-dominant leg for 30 seconds. That they say that is one of the best ways to tell if you're aging correctly with your mobility, because a lot of people fall as they get older, and falling really can hurt you bad when you're older. What do you think about the 30-second test? And have you?
I think a lot of it, at least my basic warm up, I didn't know that. My basic warm up, I actually do that twice. There's once a guy I followed named Funk Roberts, and you pick up 1 foot and you rotate it. It's 30, everything's 30 seconds. You pick up 1 foot and you rotate it and you balance on the other foot, or the other leg, other foot. Then you switch feet. And then at another point, you'll actually raise your leg higher and you'll take your, call it stirring the pot. You'll make a circle with that leg while you're maintaining your balance. Sometimes I don't. And you do that with both legs. That's harder. I'm pretty good. I fixate on the subject, and I can generally do it. It's a concentration exercise too. I didn't know that.
Well, it's a balance exercise with concentration, and somebody like you who works out all the time, it benefits you so much to be healthy like that. You can probably do it. Anybody who can hear us, try that 30-second test. And if you're not doing very good on it, start getting some exercise. Start doing some balance exercises. All right, how about this, Paul? If you went to Yale, you could study science, you could study math, you could study politics or history. They got a new one at Yale. You can study Beyonce, that beautiful, 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 talented singer, Beyonce. You can now study her at Yale. What about that, taking a test on Beyonce?
Uh, it's probably hard to fail the test. I looked at Yale. Okay, I looked at the average cost to go to Yale. The average cost per semester, including room and board and everything, is about $87,000. And that assumes that's a 12 credit load. Each course is typically 3 credits. And I calculated that the Beyonce course would cost you again, it's that 20,000, about $21,500 and some cents. Is it that important? Couldn't we just read about it? It's your money. If you got money for that. I've got a bridge
Well,
in
there's
Brooklyn.
people with money in this country. I'm
Yeah,
sorry, on this planet, actually. There are a lot of people who have a lot of money.
yeah. Get your Cybertruck wrapped and customized and all kinds of other stuff for 21 grand. But maybe you like Beyonce.
Well, I think a lot of people like Beyonce. I think she's Entertainer of the Year this year also. Well, we're sponsored by Magic Mind. Magic Mind is a liquid that Paul and I take every morning, and it has so many good benefits. But one of the benefits it has is giving you a good night's sleep. And anybody out there who can hear my voice, a good night's sleep is so, so important. Good night's sleep, taking Magic Mind. And anybody who would like to take Magic Mind, well, all you have to do is go to magicmind.co. That's magicmind.co. And if you put in the code Wingman20, you get 20% off. But they are now offering 40% off if you get a subscription. So what do you think about sleeping in Magic Mind? Has it helped you at all, Paul?
It has, the Magic Mind is good. So, and sleep is important for your body to regenerate and renew and regrow. In fact, sleep deprivation ultimately is considered a form of torture.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it's considered a form of torture. And we need, your body needs rest. You can go 100%.
That's how you grow.
That's
That's
right.
how you grow when you're sleeping. Actually, that when you get into REM, which is rapid eye movement, that's when your body heals itself, and that's when your body grows.
Yeah, it's rest and recovery. Your recovery.
Well, you see our badass jets back there. I have an F-35 that they say was a $17 trillion, no, I'm sorry, a $1.7 trillion deal that they had to go to get the F-35. It's supposed to be a badass airplane.
Yeah.
I flew it. Dr. Paul never flew it, but it sure looked good.
An F-14 behind me. I think you see the tarp spot. They look similar. It was kind of a graphic picture. It was a cool shot. They said that was F-14. Yeah, the F-35. I told you, I saw one just a few weeks ago at an air show. Pretty impressive. Very, very impressive.
Wow.
Basically, she stole the show.
She stole the show. It was a woman pilot too.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I forgot her name. Major something.
Very cool. Very cool. Thank you, everybody out there, for listening to us on Apple Podcasts, watching us on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. Thank you so much for your support. We really appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe. That helps us out a lot, and a lot of you have done that. We really do appreciate it. And we also have a newsletter. Our newsletter this week is how to pick a cruise line for your best vacation. And to get that newsletter, all you have to do is go to wingmenshow.com. That's wingmenshow.com, and you'll get a newsletter every week if you subscribe. Then, how about this? On that same website, you can write us. It's called the Frequent Flow Line. You can flow to us. The Frequent Flow Line is a place where you can ask Dr. Paul and myself any question you'd like. And I have a Frequent Flow Line letter this week. And it says, this is from a man, 46-year-old man from Amarillo, Texas. Oh boy, my in-laws give too much unsolicited advice to us, and it is disturbing the peace in our home. How can I tell them to mind their own business without offending them or my wife? Thanks, you two badass jet pilots. Love the show. Dr. Paul, I'm going to give the in-law question to you first.
So throw a fastball and a hardball at the same time. I'd say to the gentleman, you got a problem. Number one, you're 46 years old, so you're not a little kid, you're not a teenager. And I think you ultimately have to run your own household. When we say that there's a problem in the family, I'm sensing that there's a problem with the way your wife is interpreting it, and she's probably kind of backing by her parents, and that puts you in a very precarious spot, because if you tell them tell them to mind their own business, that's probably not going to go over too well with the wife, which will make things worse. So at some point, I mean, basically, I think you have to kind of go along and get along and smile, grin and bear it to a point without going off. Uh, Maybe a little passive aggressive movements like, okay, here's your opinion. You know, you can give an opinion, but this is what I want to do. Like you're captain of the airplane, you know, you should solicit the opinion of your fellow crew members, but ultimately it's your decision. And you're responsible for that decision. So eventually, you know, you're going to have to, you know, maybe put your foot down, but don't put your foot through the door and the glass at the same time. You know, a little passive aggressive, say, okay, just kind of grin and bear it. Because if you just go off and say what you think, whatever, you may break some windows that can't be repaired. And you got to ask, like, is it really worth it? Or is someone just giving me a hard time to give you a hard time? In-laws give you a hard time. You know, older people are always going to say something about the younger group. That's always the case, you know, and it's probably the case with you when you get older. Uh, you know, that's just kind of the flow of things. That's kind of an inexact answer. I'm going to say try to grin and bear it, or they start getting on your nerves. Think of something pleasant. I mean, don't be like some of the speakers that will just visualize everybody naked. I don't agree with that too much, but just see them in a ridiculous position and kind of hypnotize yourself out of it for a while. It'll pass. This will pass.
Yeah, that's good advice. What I would do also is I would sit everybody down and have a little meeting and explain what your problem is. And you can tell them that we appreciate your love, we appreciate all of this, but it is disturbing home. And you got to remember, as you being not head of the home. I don't want to say that because I think both of you need to be heads of the home, but you need to take this and actually understand that their advice and their words are just advice and words. That doesn't mean you have to do them. And sometimes just shaking your head and saying yes and not doing it is the easiest way out. It depends how bad they really are. If they're really bad, you need to stop it as soon as possible because you don't want it to ruin your marriage. And that's what happens. But you and your wife should have a talk about this and then maybe have a talk with the in-laws. That's what I think. And that brings me to this. A Wingman PSA from the 11 Facts in Life under fact number 3. Times of struggle are times of growth proportionately. Times of struggle are times of growth proportionately. And maybe you and your in-laws, that little struggle there, you might get a better relationship out of it. But I know every time that I had a problem or an issue, I look back at it and I grew from it. It's almost the same as lifting weights. You cannot grow your muscles unless you break them down. And in order to break them down, you really have to struggle with those weights. And that's how you grow muscle. Well, I believe it's the same in life. When things are going wrong and you have to fight through a struggle, remember, you learn from that struggle. Don't you think, Paul?
Yeah, exactly. That's part of what we were talking about earlier about the rest and recovery. You struggle, but while you're resting, you're recovering and you're growing too.
Well, you know, when I was in when I was in the Navy and learning flight training, if I ever did bad in a procedure, they gave me 2 more flights in that procedure and I got better. So actually, anytime I wasn't doing real good in something, because of the little bit of extra time, because of that struggle, I had to go through a lot of mental struggle with not doing well. But after that, I was the best in that area every single time. So every time that bad things happened to me and I tried to do the right thing, guess what? I grew from it. I
Yeah.
truly believe that. All right. You know, Magic Mind, once again, is our sponsor, and we thank you, Magic Mind. And what they do is they have this great drink that we drink every morning. They have 23 ingredients in it, and one of the ingredients is organic kava. And organic kava actually helps you sleep better. You want to tell us a little bit something about it?
Yeah, calm is good. It's good for your immune system, and it does calm you down. That's something I do notice in the Magic Mind. Uh, Kava is fine. You shouldn't overdose on it. I'd mess your liver up. But just like a little bit now and then is very good. And the magic mind will infuse just the right amount so you won't overdose. You'll do very, very well. Helps you with your attention, helps you with mood. I think it may have some cardiovascular benefits too by slowing things down because we're in such a rush in this world all the time. And I have to slow myself down, even being retired. Maybe I'm doing too much. And it's maybe a bit of a internal governor that helps your body manage itself.
If anybody wants to know what kava is, it's actually a plant. The plant is called Piper methysticum. It's a plant from the South Pacific, and it's a popular drink. And the kava comes from the Polynesian word awa, which means bitter. So I guess it has a little bit of a bitter taste. But when you do it with Magic Mind, that Magic Mind tastes really good. Anybody interested in Magic Mind, go to magicmind.co. That's magicmind.co. And if you get a subscription from them, they'll give you 40% off. If you just want to try it for a little while, put in the code Wingmen20. That's Wingmen20, and you'll get 20% off. What do you think, Paul?
Yeah, get that discount. Take the discount when you can. Get your kava. Basically you're going to rest easy. It reduces your stress.
All right. The name of this show is called The Wingmen Show, and it's because we always highlight people who take care of other people. Dr. Paul has an incredible wingman story for you right now. Dr. Paul?
Sure. Today we're going to talk about two wingmen, maybe three. Two wingmen that obviously had wingmen of their own. But we're talking about Larry and Kelly Peterson of Indiana. And their story is a very unique one. I can't say I've seen one like it before. Both of them have something called spina bifida, which is very unusual. I've personally met one person that had it. But spina bifida is a condition where the person's spine and the spinal cord do not meld together properly, not completely. There are gaps and it's missing. And that basically, it's a birth defect that happens during pregnancy. And it ranges. They range from mild to severe. Some things are mild that can be treated, in the womb, I understand. But the more severe things, cannot. In any case, both Larry and Kelly Peterson met as children at a spina bifida camp when they were 10 years old. Strangely enough, they went to high school together, they dated, and then grew apart. And they didn't see each other for 10 years, but they reconnected through social media. So social media can be good in some cases, obviously. But they reconnected and they got remarried. And they wanted to have a family. Both of them have spina bifida, but Kelly was not able to conceive. They said that she would not be able to conceive, but they wanted to adopt. But yes.
Isn't it true that she was told because of their disability they couldn't adopt?
Yeah, I was about to get to that. She wanted to adopt, but they said they couldn't just because they were basically wheelchair bound. But through an organization called Special Agency Adoption, Special Angels, I'm thinking of Blue Angels, Special Angels Adoption, they were able to adopt a child, but the child also had spina bifida, which is a challenge. And her name is Hadley. And we'll show you some pictures of them, but they were able to adopt, and now they're learning to be parents with all of them kind of in wheelchairs. Not totally. Kelly doesn't have use of her legs, but her husband, Larry, does. He can get around if he holds on to something. But still, they say it's difficult. It's different, parenting a child versus, teaching. Because Kelly is also a special ed teacher. She's a special education teacher. She said there's a difference between doing it in school and doing it at home. And they have the assistance of other people that help them. They've actually have a Facebook group, which is very, very interesting. And to help people with spina bifida adopt and just manage their lives. So they are a wingman to their daughter, Hadley, and other people. They're an inspiration. So it's love and perseverance can end up doing great things.
Well, that's what you just hit the nail on the head. they have that one word that will raise a child in a great, great environment. And that one thing is called love. And you can tell by looking at the pictures that you've seen, these parents really do love that baby Hadley. Well, everybody, anybody who can hear my voice, whatever you think is important, whatever you think is beautiful, and whatever makes you happy, may you have that today and forever. I pray for peace.
I pray for peace too, Commander Drew. And we appreciate all those who listen, like, and share our message. Send this to somebody. Brighten up their day. If you're watching on YouTube, most of you are not subscribers. Please subscribe. Give us a like also. And also the subscription lets you know when we put a new episode out for public viewing. So thank you very much, and God bless you.
Thank you once again, Dr. Paul Thompson, my friend. Thank you for your love, your time, and that's something that we won't ever get back. I want to thank all the listeners, too. Thank you so much for doing the show, Dr. Paul. We're jamming.
Well, thank you, Mr. Drew, for inviting me on. Always good to talk to you. And ladies and gentlemen, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to this podcast or any of the podcasts. If you're looking at YouTube, they say smash the like button. Don't smash it. Just press it gently and refer to use as a link to all your friends. You can also look at us on our website, wingmenshow.com, WINGMEN show, SHOW.com, altogether, wingmenshow.com. And we hope to see you in the future. Thanks again, Mr. Drew.
Oh, you're welcome. And we're still floating like butterflies and stinging like bees. Rumble, you badass jet pilots, rumble. May there be peace on earth, and goodwill towards all men and women.